James Oni,
Yep.
how are you?
I'm good. I don't know why I started out like that. Yep.
I don't either, James. That's just you, man. It's just you.
Yeah.
So
I embrace my weirdness, man.
not weirdness. You're just bracing you, James.
That's
just
it.
You. God made you the way you are.
That's it, man.
Plan, personality, purpose, and all in between.
Yeah.
So, James, we're on the A2 Life podcast talking about discipleship. So thankful for these conversations where we can center the thought process of Acts in the New Testament church after Jesus and the disciples have, all that's happened and all those stories there. And the disciples are fulfilling the Great Commission that Jesus gave them of making disciples of all the nations. And so in that, the same is for us today. Mm-hmm. Our heart is to continue to do that. And God's placed us where we are, I believe, for a reason. And that reason is to fulfill that as well. And so we want to talk today, as we've been in the last 3 podcasts, about how to create community in the world of social distancing. How do we do this? And we talked about picking a platform. We talked about Zoom. We talked about FaceTime, GroupMe, Google Hangouts, just phone calls, calling people, texting people, sending letters, those kind of things, just trying to figure out just ways right now to continue to, in a really difficult times, help our groups feel a part of a group and feel loved and connected. We talked about deciding and communicating a plan. So picking your platform, communicate your plan. A well-communicated plan helps lead to an executed plan. And then the last podcast, talk about being flexible.
That's
Again, right now, every day's different. Every moment's different. It seems like day by day, moment by moment, things are changing. And so being flexible and kind of focusing on our members, walking slowly, seeing their needs. And then lastly, as we think about this, we really want to kind of finish this conversation talking about promoting mutual care. So help us as we begin today, understand what this means to promote in a, again, social distancing world, community. What does it mean to promote mutual care?
Yeah, as we said last week, or not last week, but the last podcast, we talked about being flexible, and these people have needs. They have things that are going on in their lives, and so our goal, and we get this from Acts 2. I mean, our goal is to help those too in need. And I think this here, promote mutual care, is caring for those inside your own groups.
That's good.
And whether that mean, hey, I'm finna go have something delivered to them if they need food, or hey, I want to pay your electric bill. I don't know what it looks like. There's different contexts, but the thing is, caring for your people. Yes, we all should be praying, and I think that is the major thing we should be doing, is praying.
Right.
But beyond that prayer, in that sense, God calls us to do.
Yeah.
And so I love it. I love that passage when Jesus overlooks the city of Jerusalem, and he has compassion upon the people. He that compassion drives him to do something. And ultimately, we know he died on the cross for us. So let us put our feet to action, in our groups.
Our handout here that we're kind of walking through from your friend and that made this resource available, it says this: do what you can to make use of the resources the group has to help out those who need something. So there's a couple thoughts that I think that's important to think about as we think about promoting mutual care. First off, we have to see the need.
That's right.
And so understanding right now in your groups that there could be needs around you, but figuring out how to see those needs. Not everybody, James, likes to say, hey, I need some help.
That's right.
So let's talk about that for a second. How can we better see the needs around us?
First, to be honest with you, we have to engage first.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't engage, we're not going to see the need.
Yeah.
But being actively involved in listening.
That's good.
You can hear hurt in people.
Yeah.
If you're really leading people and you're guiding people, you can kind of pick up some cues on certain things, especially if you know your people.
Right.
And that's the thing in today's society, as far as our connection groups go, and just Sunday school and as, abroad, is knowing your people.
Yeah.
You have to know your people. And once you know your people, you're able to figure out those needs, in a sense. Because like you said, not everybody going to come up and say, hey, look, I'm struggling with this and everything else.
Right.
But you may see somebody there and they may be quiet. They're not joining in the conversation like they normally would. Something's not right, you know. And later on, you may say, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna connect with that person, you know, one on one, you know, and just talking with that person. Maybe that means, you know, after you get off this big platform or whatever you may be using, to call, you know, asking each and every individual, hey, are you okay? Are you doing all right?
That's
you know,
good. Yeah.
and so forth. But just connecting in that way.
Yeah. So seeing the need, and I think you said it best, like listening well, because sometimes we just want to speak and we want to give life, and I think there is life in words and speaking that, but sometimes we need to slow down enough to listen to really figure out what type of life, what type of need do we need to be meeting. And so we encourage you today, whether you're a group leader or just a part of a group, everybody has that opportunity to promote and meet these mutual needs. So listen well. If you're on a platform where you're seeing everybody's faces, man, like James has mentioned, we'd love for it, just be looking, see who's, you know, what you can see demeanor in folks. And if you're talking to folks on the phone or a text message, you know, do the best you can in those avenues to just check on those around them. And so, all right, so we talk about listening and seeing the need. Now let's talk more specific to, again, meeting the need. All right. And so, James, help us with that.
Yeah. You know, there are people in your group that have different skills, you know, different abilities and different influences. My thing is connect with, you know, hey, what can we do? You know, group, this is going on. What can we do? You know, it's interesting because some people, as the church, you know, some people just don't want to share. They don't want to say anything because they don't want to look embarrassed. They don't want to, you know, feel this or feel that or feel shameful or whatever it may be. But we are the church. We're supposed to be there for one another.
That's right.
And helping one another.
That's right.
And so, you know, if I'm hurting, I need some help, you know, and I need my family to help me. And that's where, you know, you're different. Maybe the church as a whole is maybe difficult to try to find that, but your group is able to look and be able to meet that need, you know, through different means, you know, but majority through the class in that sense.
Yeah. So being okay if you need something, sharing that. I think that's important, and being a leader that creates a environment where people feel okay with that, you know, and that starts maybe even sharing your own needs, being honest with your own self. And
Absolutely.
so, and then working together, James, you said it greatly, working together to use the resources that are there within the group to fill that, you know. And so, you know, James, this might be one of the greatest opportunities for the church to be the church.
Absolutely.
And those that are listening in all different ways and checking this out by video or checking this out through the podcast, we all have opportunities as leaders or part of our church family to continue to create community. And there may be people that are listening today that are not a part of a group.
That's right.
And they want to be, or they need a group. We'd love to have that conversation with you. If you're checking this out, let us know. We can help get you connected. You might be, again, a group already, and y'all just need some help. We'd love to help you with that and do this in this time frame. Or you might be a group and you're already doing this. And if you are, we're so excited and proud of each of you. And just let us know those things, because some of the things you're doing might help other groups.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to hear from you. And so we've talked about picking your platform, communicating your plan, being flexible, and then promoting mutual care. Any last thoughts, James?
Yeah, you know, this is, I love this because even after all this settle, all this, you know, this pandemic and everything settles and we're able to come back as a body, this still doesn't have to stop.
That's good. Yeah.
This doesn't have to stop.
Right.
You know, we still can connect in those ways.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Social, you know, we were using this social distancing term, you know, but with the technology in the world that we live in today, again, we might be physically distancing ourselves, but socially we can still connect.
That's right.
And so we encourage you today to be connecting with people, whether that's through a text, a call, a video chat, a video meeting, some sort of way. And again, we'd love to help you with that. And so, James, let's wrap up with our questions about our mission here as a church of reaching the lost, building the believer, and connecting people to the mission and purpose of God. Who are we reaching? How are we being built up? Who are we building up, being a disciple that makes a disciple? And then lastly, how are we connecting to the mission and purpose of God? God has a plan for us right where we are. He knows all the details, and He wants to use us where we are for His glory. So we encourage you to engage in God's plan for your life and the mission that He's given us here at Ridgecrest.